Wait, Colby Covington joining us from, I'm assuming, Florida, correct? Colby, is that where you're at?
Yes, sir, in the beautiful sunshine state of South Florida, Fort Lauderdale, baby. America's top team.
Well, let's get right to it. Arda, is this your I mean, you take it away, Arda. This is your guy, Colby, right?
I love the personality because I feel like that's what puts butts in seats. And Colby, you generate a lot of attention, and I am here for it. Let's put it that way. And I'm reading through your Twitter. You know where I want to start, Colby, is this hashtag NerdBash2018. Is this like a list, a running list of people that you're keeping on a list?
Yeah, pretty much. The list is really only two, what I've earned in my career. There's only two fights to make for this list of Nerd Bash 2018. These nerds that I'm going to bash in, I'm going to retire. And it's RDA and T. Woodley, The storylines are already written. Ty Quill and me have a serious history at American Top Team. And RDA, the Brazilian beef I got going, everybody wants to see it. Why does he not want to step up and defend his country's honor?
Let me ask you about the Brazil, because there was a lot of controversy around the comments regarding Brazil. What's the latest on that right now? I mean, it's still obviously very heated between both parties here, but what's the latest, particularly with the Verdum stuff?
Yes, still pretty heated. I'm still getting death threats from a lot of Brazilians. A lot of guys are unhappy at the gym, but it is what it is. I'm American, and I'm from America, land of the home. Or home of the brave and land of the free. Or land of the free, home of the brave.
There it is.
Yeah, it took me a little bit. Sorry about that.
I was hoping Nerd Bash wasn't going to be just a list. I was hoping you were going to say it was a lifestyle, almost like, some of us choose to live vegan or whatever the case is. I was hoping that hashtag Nerd Bash was not just a list of potential opponents. It is an actual lifestyle. Is there any truth to that?
Yeah, there's a lot of truth to it, I mean, every day I walk around, if guys look at me wrong, they're going to know they're going to get bullied and they're going to get taken advantage of, beaten up. So, it is a lifestyle. I live this every day.
When can I buy the Nerd Bash 2018 T-shirt, Colby?
We're working on it right now. We got some designs that we just made, and then the company is going to get it on a website soon. So the Nerd Bash 2018 T-shirts and merchandise will be available soon.
Well, let's get to it. I mean, you said that there's only two names that you're thinking about right now, and that's Ty Quill is how you refer to Tyron Woodley, and also RDA. What is the update? Where are you at? What is the UFC saying? What are those two saying? Who are you be fighting next?
I mean, Ty Quill, it's not just what I'm saying. I mean, all the fans. It's what the fans are speaking. That's what they all think. Have you not seen his last three fights? I mean, they were complete jokes. The Wonder Boy fights, that was an hour snooze fest. No one wants to see that again, so that's why Wonder Boy's not even in the title picture. RDA is just another boring fight. They'll just put on a backup fest and, a hug fest. So no one wants to see that. Someone wants to see a real beef like me and Tyron, and a guy that's going to make him fight, not just back up for 5 rounds straight and be boring.
Does the UFC agree with you, or are they trying to put that fight together?
It's not about the UFC. Yeah, of course they're agreeing. They offered him the fight December 30th, UFC 219. We were supposed to be the main event. He could fight Nate Diaz, but he couldn't fight me. So that's one time. And then they offered him the Ultimate Fighter. He can't do the Ultimate Fighter because he's faking the shoulder injury, So, the UFC wants to make it happen, but Diva Girl Woodley is the one that doesn't want to sign the dotted line. So, he thinks he's worth a money fight, but the dude can't even sell 100,000 pay-per-view draws. So how is he a money fight? He's just trying to piggyback off another star to make him a star. But the thing is he's not a star. So, it's going to be me or RDA. He's trying to avoid us both, but it just makes sense that maybe me and RDA do it for an interim title or something.
When do you think you'll find out an answer to this? We're just in a waiting period right now due to the shoulder surgery? Are we all just sort of waiting around, seeing when Woodley will come back, and then obviously we'll find out who he fights? Yeah,
definitely. We have to see what happens with Woodley. That's going to help clear up the title picture, and then we can start making fights. There's only two fights that can fight for a title. It's me or RDA. So, we have to see what happens with that, and then I'll look to get on that same card. But I think the real fight to make is me versus Tyron Woodley, man. That fight sells. Woodley's not a draw. He needs someone to help sell him a fight. I'm his money fight. There's not really a money fight out there for him. I'm the guy. Like, if he fights me, there's going to be a huge mass amount of fans that are going to want to see him knock out me or him beat me. So he can be a hero that way, and that's what he wants to be. He's trying to be this hero, but really he's just a fake and a fraud.
Last night, Nate Diaz came out and said online that he is thinking about he wants to return sometime in May or June. You just mentioned, Tyron was healthy enough to fight Nate in December, but he wasn't healthy enough to fight you. Are you concerned at all that Nate enters this conversation as well? Right now, it's down to 2 names, RDA and yourself. Are you worried that might be a third name with Nate?
No, I'm not worried. He's a lightweight, and he doesn't want this work up at welterweight. Nate Diaz knows what's up. He needs to stay at lightweight. He knows that welterweight's a different division, and it's a lot more dangerous division. I mean, he got beat up by Dunghoon Kim. Did you see what I just did to Dunghoon Kim 2 fights ago before I slaughtered Maya? I completely beat down Kim in his own home country, in his backyard.
Yeah.
So, Nate Diaz is not in the discussion, man. This is me and Ty Quill's fight.
I want to ask you a couple questions regarding this. I want to know how much of what we see of Colby Covington online and in interviews like this, how much of this is the real Colby Covington and how much of it is a gimmick that you portray to attract attention?
Oh, this is me, man. This is my everyday life, man. I ain't got nothing to hide. I'm a real. That's why everybody likes me. I'm a realist. Some people want to call me a racist, but it's because I'm a realist. But, I live this every day. Everybody wants to sit on the sidelines and use respect as a cop-out as to why they don't promote. It's similar to how all the fake news tells everybody to be politically correct because they don't want people actually saying what's really up.
What are your mornings like? You get up and you fix yourself a cup of coffee. You sit on the couch in a robe and just go through your millions of Twitter mentions. What are those like? Do you wake up to just hundreds of those every morning?
Yeah, I mean, there's the fans, they're drawn in. There's hundreds and hundreds of DMs and messages and Twitter action. I mean, I'm getting the most interaction. You see all the fans chiming in on mine more than they are on UFC's page, and they got almost 10 million followers. So, I don't pay attention to that, though. I got a goal right now to be the welterweight champ. I am the best fighter in the world right now. So, I wake up and I go to the gym. I go right downstairs because I'm staying in the dorms right now at American Top Team. I go right downstairs and I start hitting that bag, and I start thinking of Tyron Woodley's face and his jaw and what I'm going to do to him. So that's the first thing I do when I wake up every morning.
How come you're living in the dorms? Has that always been the situation? Why not get an apartment with as much time as you spend around Coconut Creek?
Just because, it keeps me focused. Dan Lambert is my manager at American Top Team, the owner of American Top Team, and he gave me the opportunity to stay in the dorms, so I took it. I want to be here, and I want to be getting better every single day. I want to be the best version of myself every time out you see me, and I'm adding new tools to my arsenal every single day. So, that's why I chose to stay at American Top Team. Thank you to Dan Lambert.
Who's been some of your inspirations in terms of, cutting a good promo or generating attention? Do you have any inspirations?
Yeah, I mean, I take a lot of inspiration from a lot of the pro wrestlers. A guy named Conan and Stevie Richards. Those 2 guys they've given me a lot of valuable knowledge.
Colby, if you don't get one of the fights that you want, if RDA ends up fighting Tyron Woodley, what does that mean for you?
I mean, I guess we have to see. If it does happen with RDA and Woodley, which I don't think that's not going to be a draw. It's not going to sell the fight. It's going to be a boring fight. It's 2 fighters that are at the end of their careers. They're both 36, 37. I'm still in my 20s. I'm just getting started, man. So, if they want to put that boring-ass draw, I'm still going to be here. I'm not going nowhere. So, I guess Wonder Boy would be great if his daddy lets him. But more importantly, the UFC doesn't see him in the title picture. So, because he put on those snooze fest with Woodley. So, we just got to see how the division plays out. But I can assure you I'm getting better every single day. And the next fight that I put on, it's going to be nonstop excitement. Someone's going to sleep.
Would you be willing? I mean, we see this occasionally from time to time. It's just case by case, just depending on the circumstances. Would you want to wait, or like you said, you're a guy in your 20s, is like a long layoff, or just kind of sitting around waiting for the winner of a title fight? Is that not appealing to you?
No, it's I mean, let's look at Tyron Woodley's career. Right before he got his title shot, and he didn't even have the credentials I have. I have better credentials than when he got his title shot. I had a better record. This and that. He sat out 2 years to wait for a title fight. So, yeah, I'm not going to be like a Tyron Woodley, but, I mean, I'm not going to sit out like Tyron Woodley 2 years. That's a move, But, I just fought 2 months ago in October, the end of October, November, so it's been December, January, 2 months ago, So, I'm not in a rush to fight. I'm not broke. I'm not like these dumb fighters out here, so. We'll see how the welterweight title picture plays out. I'm up there in the top of the division. I'm not looking backwards. I'm only looking forward. So, I can afford to wait out.
Yeah, and you made it very clear you're not looking backwards. I do have to ask you while we got you here on the podcast, a lot of people out there call you out, but one of them in particular is Kamaru Usman, who fought in St. Louis. He's been saying that he wants to coach tough against you. He said that the UFC offered to have you two main event over in St. Louis on that recent card. What are your thoughts toward Kamaru Usman? Is that a fight you were at all interested in?
I never heard of that name. Who is that?
Kamaru Usman, UFC welterweight, former Nebraska wrestler. He says he actually ran into you during your collegiate wrestling days.
No, never heard of that.
No, nothing, huh?
Nice. Wow.
That's weird.
Hey, how about these guys? Two more names that I want to ask you about. I'm sorry, were you going to say something?
Yeah, but Nerd Bash goes on. Nerd Bash 28 turn will commence. After I get my belt, they can all line up, and if they raise their stock, they can get a chance at me. But until then, I'm getting my title, and then they can all come at me one by one. I'll knock them all off King Colby Mountain, one by one.
Well, two other names I did want to ask you about, and these two guys actually have been doing a pretty good job in 2017 of raising their stock. One of them is Mike Perry. What are your thoughts about Mike Perry in that division?
Who's Mike Perry?
Don't know him either.
Is that like a chick trainer or something?
Yeah, Mike Perry. I think you guys live pretty close down there in Florida. He's a guy from Central Florida. He's got the mohawk. He does the little chicken dance when he wins. Nothing.
No, never heard of him.
I think, Brett, you're going to know what the answer is to your second fighter that you're about to ask him about, too.
Well, I'll still try it anyway. Darren Till. Have you heard of Darren Till, Colby? And what do you think of Darren Till?
Who's that?
All right.
See, that's the fight that I said I would love to see because it would be perhaps the best war of words of 2018. If Darren Till versus Colby Covington were to happen in 2018 in the UFC, I think it would be the best lead up based on how you guys would jaw-jack back and forth. But apparently you don't know who he is.
All I got to say is I run Tyquill's crew. Din Thomas, Duke Rufus Sports a joke, man. They all work for me. They're all a joke. They're on my payroll. They owe me dues for letting them operate in the USA. I run this country. I'm going to collect my pound of flesh.
Colby, I know you have no problem with spoiling endings here. You did so with the Star Wars movie. So let me ask you this. When you and Tyron Woodley fight, spoil it for us. Describe exactly what happens when you two get in the cage.
It's going to be the same exact thing that happened when we trained in the gym. I completely broke him. He put his head on the mat, his ass in the air, and he said, I quit. I have nothing more. I will take his soul in that octagon. He will never fight again. I guarantee it. Mark my words right now. You heard it here first.
When you describe that story, are you describing something that happened on a regular basis, or is there a very specific incident that happened between you two where he did quit?
No, it was an everyday thing. Anytime he wanted to come train an American top team, I was there. If he wanted to come to sparring, if he wanted to come to jiu-jitsu class, if he wanted to come to wrestling, I completely just dominated and owned him, and he knows that. That's why he's avoiding me, and he's trying to act like he's worth a money fight. The dude knows I owned him in the gym. That's why he doesn't want to talk about any of the stories. He says all this fake, oh, he's the easy fight. Oh, yes, fellow hands. If I'm such an easy fight, why are you not taking the easier fight? Obvious. If you're looking for a path, aren't you going to take the path to easier resistance if they're both going to the same spot? So let's talk about the real story. All this fake that Tyron Woodley's trying to say to the media and the fans. It's a complete joke, man. He needs to be put in check. And I'm the guy to put him in check. I don't know why my name hasn't been called, and I don't know why the contract isn't signed.
Hey, I think the only last thing I need closure on is you were involved in a pretty notorious incident with Fabricio Verdum over there in Australia where he threw a boomerang at you. I don't think that you've commented on this, or if you have, I've just missed it. That case went through the Australian courts. He was fined $600 for throwing a boomerang at you. Did that punishment fit the crime?
I let him off easy, to be honest. I told the lawyers they wanted to press charges and go in heavy. I said, no, that's not my intent. That's not what I wanted with this. The only reason I got the video is because I wanted to prove that he's a liar, which he is, that he came up to me, hit me in the face, and then threw a boomerang at me, So, he got exposed for what he did. He's a freaking idiot. He's trying to look like a hero to Brazil. He's out in dude, if you're such Brazilian all about your country, then why aren't you living there? Why are you living in the USA in Orange County in a gated community? But no, you're out here trying to be a hero for Brazil. The dude's a complete clown, the joke. I'm glad he's an old-ass bum. He ain't got nothing more. He's just trying to get a piece of the future.
Last question from me, Colby. We certainly live in more PC-sensitive times, but it doesn't seem like it seems like it's just beginning with Colby Covington. I'm wondering, as you rise through the ranks and as you become a champion and a face for the UFC, do you think you'll have to change your image at all or even soften it in order to align with, big corporate sponsorships and the like?
No, I do whatever I want. I've always done that. I don't care about these sponsors. I don't care about that. That's not what I'm in this for. I'm not fighting for money. I'm fighting for something different. I'm going to take everybody's souls, and I'm going to be the most hated and most known guy to ever grace the sport. So, I don't care about anything. Dan Lambert, he runs American Top Team. I walk in there every day, and I tell him what the up, So I let him know that I do whatever I want. I'm coming to get my belt, and no one's going to stop me. I'll do whatever I want. No one's going to tell me who to be. Like, you didn't raise me. You don't know what I've been through. So how do you think I'm not gonna do the way you want me to do. I'm gonna do how I want to do. I'm gonna be me. You're not gonna tell me how to be me.
Never a dull moment, Colby. We really appreciate you coming on. The welterweight division right now is one of the most fascinating divisions, I think, in the entire sport, and it's really